Hey, and welcome to the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. I'm Mary, and I'm brilliant at marketing. So there you go. So excited about today's topic. We're talking about how to create true value in the life you live. And the business owner and amazing entrepreneur and friend of mine who is a guest today, she and I have had a devastating loss yesterday, and so this is heavy in our hearts. So this is a perfect topic for us to be talking today. And so stay tuned for some amazing 15 minutes of action-packed content. So before we get started on the real content of the show, I just wanted to do a couple housekeeping um, uh, announcements, I guess you would say. As always, I'd like to invite you to my brilliant marketing innovators Facebook group. It's a free group that is filled with amazing entrepreneurs that are really creative or want to be or use creativity in their marketing to help magnetize their prospects and their clients to them. And we talk all about that in the group. So if you would like to join, I'll be putting a link in the show comments. So hopefully just click on that and you can come in and again meet this amazing group of amazing people. So we'd love to be a part of that. Also, I have put together a course for speakers on how to build an audience-based list so they can continue to communicate and follow up and make their life so much easier to make more leads and more sales every time they step on stage. So this is for speakers, podcasters, live streamers, and I'm super excited. So I'll put a link to that as well in the comments. And if you're interested, just let me know, DM me or make a comment, and I'll follow up with you. It's going to be super helpful no matter what platform you use. It's a way to automate your business and really help you make more money, because that's what it all does, right? If we make more money, we can have more impact. We can give more money to charity. We can do wonderful things for the kingdom of God. So there's no shame in making more money. So some people worry about that for some reason. So I just wanted to put that to bed. So without further ado, I want to introduce my dear friend, Dianne, as she is amazing and she's going to give you so much awesomeness. Okay, so I want to tell you that after Dianne Kelley, after running a successful life and health insurance business for many years, it became evident that small business owners needed help to get out of the day-to-day operations and create a business that actually has value. If they plan on selling one day, which we all should, they need to create a business for that event all along the way, not wait until they're ready to exit. So if you need to protect your business from the what ifs, or as she calls the 5 Ds, death, disability, divorce, disagreement, or disaster, you need to hear what Dianne is telling us today. So without further ado, let's bring Dianne up and have this awesome conversation. Thank you so much for being on the show, Dianne.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here, and welcome to all of your audience.
Yay, very cool. Well, again, we're trying to pack all this wonderful information into 15 minutes, so we'll get right into it. As we had said that you are you help businesses you keep the end in mind. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, after working in the employee benefit arena with small business owners over the years and seeing some of the things that they needed to do to protect their businesses as well, and telling them what they need to do, coming back and finding out they hadn't done it, I realized that there was a gap for small businesses and people working with them on planning their eventual exit.
Okay.
And as we know, and you alluded to, sometimes the exits aren't voluntary and the business needs to be protected. And there's some particular things that a solopreneur has to be aware of and set up properly so they don't leave their loved ones in a mess if something does happen to them. And more importantly, that they have something of value when they're at the end of their business work life.
Right. And just because you say exit, you could also sell your business for a profit and then eat bonbons on the beach all day, right?
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of different ways to exit. Selling is probably one of the most known ones. You can also franchise your business. How many people have thought about doing that and maybe need some help doing that? That's a great exit strategy. Maybe you have a
I never
son
even
or a
thought
daughter.
about that.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
if
then you
you
can
have
help people
somebody,
do that?
yeah, I have somebody who does. I have a
Okay.
franchise expert. Yes.
That
Yeah.
is fantastic. But then how would you be exiting it if you're having other people have
Well,
franchise?
because you get it automated and you're not running it anymore.
Oh, yes. Well, this it's
You can
interesting.
retain ownership of your original business if you
Okay.
want, or just have somebody come in and run it, which is better yet, but then you get money off the franchisees.
Oh my God, that is brilliant.
Yeah,
Girl,
yeah.
that's fantastic. I never even thought I've been in business as of this month, Diane, 35 years.
I saw that. Congratulations. That's
Thank
a
you.
huge timeline.
I
Yeah.
didn't even
And
like
you're
it
not
didn't
even that
even
old, Mary.
I know I'm only 36.
See?
So I was a child prodigy.
There you go. As were we all.
Right? I came right out. Mom was changing my diapers. I'm like, hey man, let's start a marketing company.
Yeah,
Um,
so the other ways that you can exit your business is you can have investors come in and buy you. So
okay.
if you have like a small electrical contracting company, they'll come in and buy your company and they'll merge it with other electrical contracting companies.
Oh,
And every time they sell it, you make money. It's kind of like an annuity.
that is amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
girl, you have
So
given so much value already, and I think we've been on for 6 minutes.
there you
Hello.
go. But the most important thing, and what we want to talk about today, is how the business owner sets the business up so that they're not running the day to day stuff, right? How
Yes, which
many
brings
entrepreneurs do you know, and I know, who are working tons of hours a week,
yeah,
nights, weekends, holidays? What's a vacation, right?
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
They've
not
created a
wise.
job for themselves, right? It's not a business
Exactly.
anymore, it's a job. And that's
Exactly.
kind of like where your marketing fact comes in, right?
Yep.
So tell me more about how to
Yeah.
give your team the autonomy
So
that
you
they need.
have to have, well, first of all, you have to know how to create a team, right? So
Oh,
there are ways to do that and things to look for. And we certainly have experts who can help you with that as well. But if you have a team and you build a team, you have to trust the team and give them some control. And this is very
you
difficult
mean
for our business.
let go?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh my.
So, if you're the salesperson and you're the rainmaker and you hire somebody to do sales and marketing, you better get out of their way.
Yeah,
You give them 90 days. If they're not performing, then that's not the right person, right?
sure,
But if,
sure.
if they are and they pick up and they start doing what they're supposed to be doing, you shouldn't have to be out there doing the sales.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Conversely, if you're the one running the office, you're the operations person, you got to have your hand on every little tidbit and micromanage everything that comes through that office. You need to get somebody like yourself. As I put it, you have to clone yourself.
Wow. Well, you mentioned a little bit, I kind of breezed over this, but tell me a little bit about how your business is not your baby or your retirement plan. It's an asset and needs to be treated as such. So cut the umbilical cord. What do you
Yes.
mean by that? That's
What
awesome.
I mean is exactly what I'm talking about. These business owners, they they look at their business as their baby.
Yeah,
Many of them will say, this is my retirement plan, but they haven't set it up to be able to harvest that wealth that they've built up in the company. Number one.
right,
Number
right.
two, the business becomes their identity. It's who they are, not what they do.
Yes,
And when,
yes.
when it's who you are, you can't separate yourself emotionally from the company, and then it's your baby. And that's why I say cut the umbilical cord, because your business, first and foremost, is an asset. And you need to treat it as an asset. Now, your finances, your retirement plan, or whatever you have going over here, that's not your baby, right?
Right.
That's your resources. Those are your assets. And you want to grow your assets and make sure that they're in the right spot. Same thing for your business.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that kind of gives a fresh perspective. Interesting that
Fresh
your business
view.
is fresh view. I was just gonna say, well, it's like you have a fresh view of your business. Wow, where have I heard that before?
That's why we called it that.
That is awesome. And so kind of give me like when obviously you've set your business up, you have a team,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So
Yep.
kind of give me like walk through just in a nutshell what someone would need to do to start hiring a team and trusting them to do their job.
Yep. Step number one, you have to figure out what you're doing. Write out
Oh,
a list, track what you're doing on a weekly basis, and keep tabs of everything you do, everything, no matter how small, because then what you need to do is start taking off the stuff on your list that you should not be doing, number one, and delegate. If you don't have somebody in your organization that can take over that, that's a starting point of who you need to hire. So it shows the gaps. Okay.
That's
So,
awesome, and I have a little quick idea on
yeah,
that
yeah,
someone can actually take.
because you're a marketing
There's
person.
yeah, a little spin here,
Yep.
is that when I started hiring, like, virtual assistants, actually, what I
Hmm.
did was, and I was taught by someone called, Jen Lehner. Her name is Jen Lehner, I should say, she's not called that. And she's brilliant at helping people, hire virtual assistants. Anyways, she taught us that you take a Loom video, which is like a screen sharing video. So there's lots of
Okay.
ones.
Yep.
I just like Loom. And then once you, instead of just doing what you do and just
Mhm.
getting it done because you, the only one whoever does it knows how to do it because you're a control freak. And I don't know, I'm not talking about myself at all,
Okay.
is that you turn on the Loom video and then you do a task, whatever that task is that you do without even thinking, but you're recording it and you're saying out loud into the video, into the thing, okay,
Mhm.
now I do this, now I do this, now I do this, right? And once you
Yeah.
have that Loom video, you can send it to your assistant. And this is the procedure I would like you to follow every time you do my emails or every time you do my this or that. So if that might be helpful for your people as
Yeah.
well,
I've
it's
heard that.
just,
Yeah, that's great advice because then you're actually videoing it. Now, if you have somebody who's out in the field, like a salesperson or something, is a little bit harder to do during that
yeah.
time period, but you can record your sales conversation. Okay.
Oh,
What
okay.
you say to the client, or if you have an intake and you're asking them 20 questions, as I put it, you can record all that. And this is another really important thing is to set up your standard operating procedures and have them written down or recorded somehow. So this could
Yeah.
be a good start to get that done, which also largely is not done.
Right. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
creating a procedure or a system
Mhm.
that brings through. So everything you do offline and in person gets recorded. Well, I
Okay.
know I don't want to miss talking about this because I think it's so important. You had mentioned, in fact, I need to pull it up because I
The
thought it was
five
so important.
Ds.
The 5 Ds. Where did I put them? So tell me a little bit about the
Okay.
5 Ds.
So the 5 Ds are what can
Or that.
happen that can tank your plans to eventually sell your business.
Okay.
And this could be death. And Mary and I just experienced the loss of a dear colleague and friend who died in her sleep
Right.
suddenly.
She had never, like, I don't know if she's planned for it,
I,
but
I'm
it
sure
was
she didn't. Well, I
no,
mean, in the big picture of things, nobody expects that that's going to happen. And she was
no.
young. She's in
Yeah,
her
in fact, I
mid
went and
50s.
stalked her page, of course, I found out
Yeah.
she died, and I'm, like, in
Yeah.
shock, so I'm, like, looking back, "Oh my gosh," and she had booked an Airbnb for one of her photography sessions in
Yep.
Arizona,
Yep. Next
and so
week, I think.
she was coming close to you, and I
Yep.
know
She
that
was.
we've both had our headshots and
Mhm.
lifestyle pictures taken with her,
That's right.
and the world has lost a very bright light. Anyways, but that
So
brought it to the attention of why this show is so important to record.
exactly, and that can create chaos. Hopefully, she did have some things set up, but who's going to replace that income? She was a solopreneur, right? And she was very very successful. Divorce. I had a client recently going through divorce, and the soon to be ex had taken some assets out of the company and left her with debt. Okay, so
Oh
she's
my.
struggling, trying to get back on track. Disagreement. I had another client who had a business partner who decided that they were going to move away and not tell her. And then all of a sudden she's made aware of this. And then she says, well, this isn't what I agreed to. And trying to figure out how to get them out of the business when there was no legal agreement on how to do that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
now it comes down to what? Money. How much money do they want? So if you don't have that pegged, and that goes to another point, if you have a business running at least $1 million of annual revenue, you need a business valuation and you need to
Oh,
keep that up to date. So if something happens like that, like a disagreement or a divorce or a death, you have that value pegged, and the IRS or somebody else can't come in and arbitrarily pull a number out of the blue sky.
right. And you didn't mention disability or disaster, but we all know what
Disability
those are.
is another one. So I had
Yeah.
a client years ago fell off a roof and he dragged himself to his truck, got into his truck, got surgeries, PTOT, and he almost lost the business because he was tied up getting taken care of medically, right? So that can do it.
Wow.
And then disaster. And, we can talk about disasters all day. We just went through 2020. You can look at Maui. How many of those business owners maybe had all their data backed up somewhere else offshore or out of the offices, everything burned up. You don't know what's going to happen. So you just
Right.
need to have things in order as much as possible. I mean, there's only
Right.
so much we can do, but
Sure.
you got to
Yeah.
start.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when you do, you'll also feel like peace of mind. Like one of our things we do with our business, we have software called brilliantmobile.com, and it allows you to build a list. So again, I always call it business asset and business insurance, because an asset that you can turn around and when you sell your business, you're like, yeah, I have 10,000 mobile numbers of my customers. That just
Yeah.
increased the value of your business, right? And
Right.
also, if something goes wrong and you're like locked out of Facebook, or your email system goes down, or your website goes down, you have
Right.
a way to communicate with your customers. So I totally agree with you, Diane. Like
Yeah.
your business assets is so important to recognize in any sort of your business, as well as the business insurance. I love that you help people with that. And I'm so sad that this show's over. You have been giving me so much great information.
Well,
So
anybody who wants more information, we're happy to help them.
that is awesome. And so you can find Diane, and obviously her team runs an amazing, all of her social, but she has on Instagram, she's FreshVue Pro, and it's VUE in case you're listening on the podcast. And on LinkedIn, she's at Dianne Schmidt Kelly, all one word, but we'll put all the links in the comments so you can find it on YouTube, on Facebook, on all the things. But again, you are a blessing to so many people, Diane, and
Mary.
thank you so much for the work that you do, and helping us create true value in the life that we live.
Happy to do it. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are so welcome. All right. Well, listen, everybody who's watching this, we'll see you next week. Be brilliant in all you do and plan for your future before it's too late. And if you need help, Diane is your girl. So, all
Amen.
right. You guys have a wonderful day. And until then, as I said, oh my goodness sakes, be brilliant in all you do.
Thanks, Mary.
You are so welcome. All right, here we go. Bye. You can learn more about me and my products and services at anotherbrilliantidea.com. Make sure you join me every week on the SWE Media Network YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.